Hey everyone, Harris O'Malley from DrNerdLove.com, brought to you by my generous patrons at patreon.com/DrNerdLove. And today, I want to let you in on a little secret. You are your own worst enemy. Every day, you do 1,000 little things that sabotage your desirability, handicap your ability to improve, and hold you back from the dating success you want. Hell, from the dating success you deserve. But here's the secret. The reason that you, like so many people, struggle with dating is not because there's something wrong with you. The reason why you are having such a hard time isn't because you're uglier than anybody else. It's not because you're more flawed than anyone else. It's not because of your genes, your face, your hairlines, or just because the gods themselves looked down on Olympus and said, that guy in particular. It's because you're caught up in a negative cycle that makes it virtually impossible to make things better. That negative mindset, a combination of habits and practices that you developed without even realizing, saps you of your agency, your self-efficacy, and even your belief that you can do better. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, one that reinforces all the worst things that you already believe about yourself. Every day, you tell the story of who you are, and you're the one telling yourself that you suck, that you're awful, you're a failure, and that nothing you do will ever be good enough. And it's not true. But to be fair, when you decide you're a failure, then you're going to be proven right. Not because you're objectively correct and that there's nothing you can do, but because you've decided that you're f***ed, and so you've given up. That decision is what makes all the difference. Because by deciding that you're a failure and that there's nothing you can do, you have cut yourself off from success. Even if you were to take radical steps like plastic surgery, then afterwards you'll realize that nothing will have changed. You'll still find that you're not getting the attention, dates, sex, or relationships that you want, which will just put you into an even deeper depression spiral. And that's not speculation. That is what a lot of people have gone through. In fact, I talked about this specific example in a previous episode. Links in the show notes, or just hit the thing in the corner. The reason why even something as radical as reshaping your entire face will fail is because the issue isn't in your bone structure or your genes or your height. It's literally that you have decided that you can't succeed, and everything radiates outward from there. And that's not just woo-woo, think positive and everything will be fine bull. It's about what we believe and how those beliefs shape us. When you expect the worst, you get the worst. And more often than not, you have set yourself up to only believe the worst, especially about yourself. None of this is surprising because negativity is seductive. It feels more real. It feels more valid because we have a psychological bias towards negativity. Negative feelings affect us nearly 5 times more than positive ones, and we live in a world that prioritizes negativity. Social media, and YouTube in particular, are prime examples of this. Stories, videos, and links that make us angry or upset get more engagement, which then makes them more popular within the algorithm, which then incentivizes people to prioritize negativity. Plus, negativity feels righteous. You'll never meet a pessimist who will call themselves a pessimist. They'll insist that they're a realist, someone who's taken the red pill and now sees through all the world's illusions, unlike the rest of you sheeple. But they're wrong. They've just fallen into the same trap, giving up their own agency for the addictive thrill that anger and negativity brings. The mistake that people make all the time is that they believe that they're an objective observer, not just of their own lives, but of the world and the people in it. And that's not true. What they're doing is allowing their beliefs to determine how they interpret the world around them. Then they respond to those beliefs as though they were objective reality. Today, I want to help you break this cycle. I want to help you recognize these patterns and beliefs and teach you how to snap out of it. Because by changing these beliefs and developing new habits, we are able to change our world and create the strength and resilience it takes to become socially successful. These are changes that anyone can make at any point in their lives. Changes that will help you transform your life in ways that you've never believed possible. The first key to transforming your life and breaking that cycle is that you need to change the story that you tell yourself. And I do mean that literally. Studies estimate that we speak to ourselves at a rate of over 300 to 1,000 words per minute. And the words we choose directly affect what we think, how we see the world, and how we respond to it. Whether we use positive words or negative words when we talk to ourselves makes all the difference. Negative self-talk, saying things like, I'm not good enough, they could never possibly like me, reinforces your fear and your despair. Those words sap your will and your drive because they shift your focus to the worst possible outcomes. You give up more easily because you believe failure is inevitable, and you won't work as hard or as effectively because you've already decided that success is permanently outside of your reach. By choosing to use positive self-talk, on the other hand, we give ourselves the strength, the grit, and the drive to succeed. And I know what you're thinking, but this is not just a case of think happy thoughts and you'll fly, or send out the right vibes and the universe will reward you. This is not the province of optimists who believe in a world where unicorns, rainbows, and fart cotton candy clouds. These are the same principles that Navy SEALs teach their recruits to help them develop the mental and emotional fortitude to pass the most grueling program the US military has to offer. But the trick isn't to just say everything's fine no matter what and call it a day. It's to choose to look at things differently and to choose to change negative self-talk to positive, even if things aren't going your way. Instead of I'm not good enough, you reframe it to, I've got this. I've been working hard at it and it's going to pay off. They could never like me becomes, they're friendly and they can't not like me once they get to know me. Even failure is a point for reframing the situation. It's not, I was rejected because I'm not Chad Thundercock. It's to remind yourself, they clearly weren't right for me. Or to say, hey, I did so much better this time. It's just a matter of time before I nail it. The key to keep in mind is that if you go into a situation expecting the worst, you're gonna get it. Not because of any inherent magic, but because you've set yourself up to look for the worst. You'll interpret everything in the most negative possible light, and you'll have primed yourself to expect rejection and failure and then blame yourself for it when it happens. But by engaging in more positive self-talk, you reframe the situation so that your expectations change accordingly. You see things in a more positive, more charitable light, which adjusts how you interpret people's actions and motivations, including your own. When you talk yourself up, you keep yourself pumped and treat failure as something that can be overcome with work and persistence, you give yourself the strength to give it another shot and then another, and that is how winning is done. Because the reason why people who use positive self-talk perform better than people who use more negative self-talk is that the people who are more positive are simply willing to keep trying. And that willingness to keep trying is important because that is what leads to success. The second key to breaking the cycle is very similar. You want to be able to picture how you're going to succeed. Again, this is the sort of thing that seems like woo from The Secret, but there is actual science to back this up. Our brains don't know the difference between something that's imagined and something that's real. That's part of why dreams can feel like memories. But it's also why visualization can be an incredibly powerful tool for success. Visualization exercises are a form of practice. Doing them makes it easier to perform those tasks in the real world. But if you do it the wrong way, then you end up sabotaging yourself. Lots of people, for example, spend time picturing all the worst case scenarios that would happen if they dared to just talk to someone they're attracted to. Just as with negative self-talk, This primes your brain to expect the worst. You have spent so much time practicing those negative experiences that you're going to expect them no matter what actually happens. At the same time, the answer isn't just to have a fantasy about your success. A lot of people will fantasize about having a better life. They can see a world where they're just magnetic, dating the hottest women they know, living a life that would make Jay Gatsby green with envy. And they're doing it wrong. The mistake that they're making is that they're imagining the end goal, the moment they cross the finish line. And while this may seem like something that would motivate you to do better, in reality, it actually saps your willpower. It makes it harder to succeed. You are so busy picturing the reward, you're priming yourself for victory without doing the work that it takes to actually get there. It's an underwear gnome scenario. You're expecting profit with no clue as to how to make it happen. So as a result, you're teaching yourself that the key to success is waiting for a miracle instead of putting in the work. Instead, what you need to do is visualize not just the reward, but how you're going to earn it. Visualization exercises only help if what you're visualizing include the steps that you're going to take that will get you there. By running through those scenarios over and over again in your mind, visualization exercises help prepare you to take those steps in reality. Instead of skipping straight to, and then I took her to the bedroom, you want to focus on things like imagining approaching someone and having a successful conversation with them, or visualizing how you would ask somebody out on a date. Doing this over and over again, imagining different scenarios that you might reasonably encounter and how you would handle them is a form of dress rehearsal. This way, when you're doing it for real, you'll be ready for it. The task will feel more natural, you'll feel more relaxed and more capable. But these exercises also help keep you motivated. When you're visualizing the steps that it would take to succeed, you are priming yourself to do the work, not just to wait for success to fall in your lap with no effort on your part. The work becomes part of the process. That actually takes us to the third key change. You need to change how you view social success and what it takes to get there. The people who end up sabotaging themselves see social and romantic success as a binary. Either you're popular and attractive and charismatic, or you aren't, and there's nothing you can do to change that. I should know. I used to be one of those people. I used to look at folks who I thought were just naturally gifted and charismatic and charming, and I believed that I could never be like them. But I was wrong. This is an incredibly common and self-defeating worldview, one that emphasizes how powerless and helpless a person is, an outlook that says that any attempt at self-improvement is ultimately a futile gesture. In reality, social skills are skills, and any skill can be improved with practice and dedication. Many people have problems with meeting women or simply starting conversations because they don't consciously work to develop those skills. That's why it's often so difficult to get to a place where you can flirt with ease or even just talk to somebody you're attracted to. It's because of how rarely we treat social skills as skills that you can practice, and so we never practice flirting. We never practice approaching people that we're interested in. And when you're not in the habit of talking to people on the regular, it gets so much harder to do so when you feel like it counts. That's why it's so understandable that you might choke or panic in the moment. It's the emotional equivalent of that dream where you realize you're about to take the final exam for a class you've never actually been to, and you're naked, and everything's on fire. Am I the only one who ever has that dream? Even charisma is a skill that can be developed and improved upon. For all that we hold Brad Pitt and George Clooney up as the epitome of sex appeal, it is very easy to miss how much of their appeal is due to having worked at being charming. Being able to convey that charisma is as much of a matter of deliberate practice as it is a natural gift. Otherwise, they would end up severely limited as actors. Part of the secret, for example, of Clooney's easygoing smile and bedroom eyes comes down to hours of work with a mirror until it all becomes muscle memory. Taking time to practice talking to people you meet during your day, practicing your flirting techniques, your jokes, even your smile, all help you build your social skills and get you ready for the moments when you want to make it count. Which is actually a great lead up to my next point. The fourth key to breaking the cycle of self-sabotage is that you need to take back your sense of control. So much of the self-sabotage that hinders people in dating comes from the belief that they have no control over their lives, especially their love lives. The fantasy of unearned triumph trains you to believe that success requires a miracle, not that it comes from hard work. Believing in the social binary of you have it or you don't is a belief that robs you of your agency and your power. Even basing your sense of self-worth only on the things that you think other people value robs you of your agency. It puts your self-esteem entirely in the hands of other people. When you don't believe that you actually have meaningful control in your life, then it is all too easy to fall to despair and just give up. Which is why you need to take control back and remind yourself of just how much is actually within your power. Now, the good news is that this is much easier than it seems because it doesn't take much to reestablish that you have control. Something as minor as cleaning and organizing your apartment is a way of expressing agency. You're demonstrating that you do, in fact, have control over your environment. And that same outlook applies to exercising, to talking to strangers, even dating. Doing one more pull-up than you could the week before, saying hi to one more person than you did yesterday. These are small, easily achievable goals that prove that you can do better, you can improve, you can progress. Even something as small as one more smile at a total stranger is a win that you can and should celebrate, because as minor and seemingly insignificant as it may feel, each of those wins is a reminder that you have far more efficacy and agency and control than you give yourself credit for. People who have small daily goals are 10 times more successful than the ones who don't. Those goals help keep you motivated. They encourage you to do more. It doesn't matter that they may seem laughably small. Those milestones may seem minor, but every single step gets you that much closer to where you want to be and serves as a reminder of how far you've come and how much you're capable of. My last key point is possibly the most important. If you want to stop being your own worst enemy and build a more positive and resilient outlook, you need to pay attention to your environment. Where you spend your time and who you spend it with is unbelievably important because it has a direct effect on you, your outlook, and your ability to improve. Remember what I said about how we have an inherent negativity bias? Part of why it can be so very hard to escape that cycle of self-sabotage is because we often end up surrounding ourselves with people who actually encourage it. One of the most glaring examples of this is the incel community. Part of why the incel mindset is hard to escape is because of how the incel forums, subreddits, and discords reinforce those beliefs through the negativity bias. When you are surrounding yourself with people who continually all over any of your attempts to improve and insist that you, like they, are just a genetic dead end, you end up digging yourself in deeper and deeper and making it harder to get away. The negative validation of people who will confirm your worst fears and tell you that you're right to be upset and angry about it can be incredibly addictive. And it can be hard to leave behind the people you feel get you at that level, even when it actively hurts you. And worse, just as negative posts on social media and videos on YouTube create more engagement, there is a reinforcement cycle in communities like this that encourages louder, angrier, and more extreme negativity. The more vitriol and hate people spew, the more people respond, which encourages others to try to be even more extreme in order to get the same level of clout and approval, which only goes on to reinforce those same negative self-limiting beliefs. And this goes beyond incels. It is just as prevalent in the MGTOW and red pill communities, even in genre fandom. People revel and trade on negativity and anger and spite, often for profit. They have a vested and financial reason to want you to believe that you are powerless, helpless, and that you should be angry about it. If you want to break out of the cycle of self-sabotage, you need to cut the negative influence from the subreddits you read to the YouTube videos you watch and the people in your life. Instead, you want to invest your time in positive spaces with people who care about you, who believe in your ability to succeed, and who encourage you to do better. You want friends and a community who encourage and prioritize compassion and empathy for others and for yourself. The more that you have your team you backing you up, the stronger that you'll be emotionally and mentally, and the more that you'll be setting yourself up for your inevitable success. Oh, one more thing. If you want to learn how to develop the skills that transform your dating life, then you're going to want to sign up for the beta test of the Dating Accelerator program, an 8-week seminar where I will be teaching you and a limited number of students how to transform your dating life, as well as helping you build the social success you have always dreamed of. I only have a few spots left, and members of NerdLove Academy get the first chance to reserve a spot before I open up applications to the general public. So if you are ready to take your love life to the next level, be sure to join the NerdLove Academy Facebook group at facebook.com/group/Dr. NerdLove to learn more. So that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. You've heard from me, and now I want to hear from you. What steps are you ready to take to build a better, more positive, more successful life for yourself? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget, I'm answering some of your dating questions on my new Ask Dr. NerdLove series of videos. So if you've got a short dating question you'd like to have answered on here, hit me up, share that in the comments as well. Maybe the question I will be answering next week will be yours. Meanwhile, if you want to work on practicing those social skills, learn what it takes to talk to strangers, how to turn people you've just met into friends and lovers, then check out my book, New Game Plus, The Geek's Guide to Love, Sex, and Dating. This is the instruction manual you have always wanted, the A to Z guide for learning how to develop and unleash your inner Casanova, take a level in sexy badass, and find the relationships that you've always wanted, whether it's just that night or for a lifetime. Links to buy it are in the show notes, so go check it out, along with all my other books. And if you do check it out, or any of my other books for that matter, do me a huge, huge favor. Be sure to rate and review them on Amazon and Goodreads. It is a huge, huge help. And now we've gotten to the point in the video, you know what to do. The same thing I ask every time. Hit that thumbs up, let me know you liked it, share around with your friends, like, share, subscribe, yakety schmackety, yada, yada, yada. But if you are really enjoying these videos, if you feel like you're getting a lot out of it, you're finding that it's helping, and you want to support the channel and, in the process, help fund some awesome new projects, consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/Dr. NerdLove. Even $1 is a huge help. It covers hosting and equipment costs, and it's like I always say, I can't do this without the help of my patrons, so whether you're a new patron or you've been with me from the beginning, thank you all so very much. Meanwhile, follow me on Twitter at Dr. NerdLove. Join the NerdLove Academy at facebook.com/group/Dr. NerdLove. And as always, hit that logo to subscribe, check out my other videos, and I will see you here next time with more about love, sex, and dating. Thanks for watching.